Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the European LCS, and on stage to close out the week are ROCCAT and Fnatic. Let's start by taking a look at Fnatic. Yesterday, they played the Giants, very versatile pick and ban phase. We saw the Quinn jungle in there, the LeBlanc in the mid lane, so that was definitely a good game from them. Of course, Giants are not in high form, but it does mean something that they played incredibly cleanly.
Oh, it was super clean from Fnatic. I mean, I think they only gave up like 1 kill, 1 tower. Neither team took a dragon, because who needs to when you're just winning that quickly? But we wanted to get a feel maybe of your thoughts on, now that we're a few weeks in, on Rekkles and Noxiac and where they stack up in the bottom lane.
Actually, I feel like they're actually improving quite well. Rekkles has always been like really solid as a player. Like, he's really conservative in every team fight. He knows how to like kind of output damage, but not play too upfront. And I think Noxiac kind of complements him in lane phase because he mechanically is really, really good. And I just think with time he could maybe be better in terms of like shot calling. As you can see, like that sometimes Fnatic make some weird calls that they want to like get Baron when it's really bad, or they just get caught or something because they don't have vision. And I just feel in the future they could be really good too.
Well, you mentioned Noxiac and maybe shot calling in the future. We have heard from Fnatic when Rekkles was on the desk that he is taking on a lot of that role. What do you make of that? Because you also mentioned the fact that he is not the guy that flashes in and outputs damage most of the time. How will that influence the way he plays and the way he prioritizes? Actually,
I don't think it's great if an AD carry is a shot caller, because back when I joined H2K, actually, Hyunin was the main shot caller. Like, he was the one who soak a lot. But as I noticed, like, his mechanics weren't that great because he can't really focus on the game whilst CSing and all that stuff, and even trading in lane. So I don't think it's that great to have an AD carry who shot calls everything. Like, most teams will have like support or jungle shot call because they control where everyone goes on the map or what they do on the map, in order whether they want to pressure mid-bot, mid-top, etc., etc. And I think as an AD carry, it's obviously it's going to be a challenge, of course. Like, I'm not just going to say he's bad at it because Fnatic are still doing well, but I just feel like, from my perspective, an AD carry should be the one to just focus on his mechanics and knowing what to do in team fights.
Well, speaking of AD carries, Fnatic are up against a team who have changed their AD carry now, of course, bringing in Tabs. But one thing we've really noticed from ROCCAT comes to their team fighting from yesterday. We took a look at exactly how they were doing with this Maokai, which normally Maokai is like the champion that leads team fights very well. He's such good engage normally, but
is it a pick in this meta?
Right, exactly. It's like one we're starting to see, but with this composition, it just didn't really fit in. They gave Vizicachi such an easy laning phase and allowed him to get into the game, and ROCCAT just couldn't really get the engages off properly yesterday, and that's pretty worrying when you look at that top lane pick.
It is, but they do play with, no problem. They do play with 2 subs though. Extinct came in for the support, and now Tabs is coming in for AD carry. What is the potential of that bottom lane to grow? We know that Tabs, of course, when he's on, can be a very good player.
Personally, I feel like ROCCAT bot lane is, well, Tabs is like decent at the game. I wouldn't say he's like the best right now, if anything, but I think Extinct is like super new to the support role. I don't think he knows that much about like the game from what I can see. Sometimes he just doesn't really ward much and doesn't really know where to be on the map. And I think this might be because either he's like just not used to being in a support role because he used to main mid. So I think bot lane as them two, I think it's better if they just play as a team rather than playing for lane. Like, I would just lane swap every game if I was them.
Because we do see that they have some good players in there. Betsy is actually doing quite well. Tabs is doing quite well, and Freddy is up there as rocking the top lane as well. So they should have the ingredients to make something happen. We'll see if it happens versus Fnatic. And as we head inside the battle arena, we're here from Noxiac on his fit within Fnatic.
I think I have to find a new identity because Yellowstar teach Rekkles and Felvin so much. So I need to be the person that, on the one hand, is like with the Yellowstar, who is like talking the things he said. But on the other hand, Rekkles and Felvin know a lot of stuff. So I can find kind of my own style. And I don't need to fill his shoes or be exactly like him. And I think with time we can find a really good balance. And once we get those balance, I think we can be really good.
Just taking a little bit of time to find his identity now. Champ Select is just a few moments away. Let's get a quick roster rundown for ROCCAT in the blue corner. Throwing those punches, we got Freddy in the top lane. It is Airwax in the jungle. Betsy in mid there. ADC Tabs now in there. And Extinct, of course, the coach, who's also called I'm So Fresh.
Yep, I'm So Fresh. Very fresh right now. On the red side, also fresh players. We have Gamsu in the top lane for Fnatic, Spirit in jungle, Favy in the mid lane, Rekkles and Noxiac constitute the bot lane, and Coach Daylor, as always, leading that squad.
Absolutely, and Daler himself said, you know, it's going to take us some time. We basically got to build this team back up, and they've had a definitely bouncy split so far. 1-1s in every week up until now. It could still happen. Daler's all smiles today. I think they've definitely got some tricks up their sleeve going into this one.
Yeah, I mean they're playing ROCCAT.
That's
so
true.
A slightly easier opponent. Also, I'm just reading the pregame lobby by the way.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah.
you guys go full screen, I'm seeing what the pro players are writing here. Extinct right now is asking if anybody wants to duo queue because he's stuck in Diamond 1. So if there's any challenge remains right there.
You're not going to offer?
I'm barely a low master.
Okay.
I'm slowly making my way to challenger.
Hey, but you haven't lost an LCS yet.
Just yet. Yeah, 0% lose
Not
rate
this
for
split.
me. Not this split, but enough about us. Let's get into the game. Champ Select should be underway.
It's all about these two teams. So the Corki band is the first off the board. Fnatic on the red side will take the Callista away. Definitely hitting the 80 carries hard once again. That was Tab's champion choice, and he definitely did okay on it, better than Saphir.
Yeah, but it didn't work out. They went for a full protect the 80 carry comp with the Maokai top lane, but then with the Callista, that really wasn't enabled. Tabs was actually stuck in the side lanes too, kind of fixing the minion waves, and that is a problem that ROCCAT have a lot in the mid game. Their side lane minion wave pressure is completely lacking, and one of those the problem kind of arises too from the fact that Betsy plays very heavy ignite mid lanes too, because he continuously wants to win lane because he feels he needs to find an opening, but that puts him in the mid game without teleport, and then ROCCAT starts struggling.
Yeah, and you can also see the GP once again banned on the blue side for ROCCAT. We know that Freddy prefers these tank styles, and we saw him even going over to Maokai for the first time in Europe this split. It is troubling.
Hopefully the last
Gangplank is so
time.
powerful, and you don't want to pick him.
Yeah, hopefully the last time for sure on that Maokai, because preference is fine. You know, you can have a style, but if the meta shifts towards heavy carry top laners, you need to be able to play it because you put so much strain on your team by having to dance around it. You know, any possibility of certain flex picks, pick and ban trends go way out of the window if all you can do is play tanks, because suddenly your mid laner and your 80 carry have to go for hyper carry high damage, or your jungler can't even play tanks anymore because if you play double tank, you're likely going to lose a draft.
Yes, indeed. Now, taking a look at the respect ban against Febivin, that LeBlanc taken off the board. Notably, Lulu is still up. Does Fnatic take this away now, or do they leave it and risk ROCCAT getting a first lock-in?
I think they can give it away to ROCCAT, especially if we acknowledge a trend where Betsy plays Ignite Lulu.
Poppy ban, it's up.
That's completely fine because ROCCAT have shown a very struggling mid game. They do get Lucian here though on tabs. I think that's good to give him some strong 80 carry, especially when the two next 80 carries are banned out.
That is true indeed, so Reckless will have to dig a little bit deeper if this is what they lock in. ROCCAT are going to take their time on this one. They focus in on tabs coming in. It's always a rough ask to come in the middle of a split and try to pick a team that is, you know, currently only sitting with one win off the floor.
Yep.
See if he can make an impact, especially in the coming weeks. Fnatic is definitely a rough team to do it against. They have had their struggles, but they're coming off a clinical victory against Giants. They'll be looking to do the same again today to ROCCAT.
Yeah, Fnatic are looking at the help from their support staff to just, you know, improve. They've come out and said it. You know, their goal is to do well at the end of summer right now. Spring is a building stage for Fnatic. Looking to pick up the next 80 carry here to lane into that Lucian. Caitlyn is always an option because of the range advantage. They can actually go for a protect the 80 carry comp too.
They could even go double protect the 80 carry comp if they end up locking the Quinn in before they take their next choice. They were hovering on the Caitlyn for a little while. That would have been a first for Reckless this split. The Lulu definitely makes a lot of sense if they want to do that. They know they have the power to outfight ROCCAT on all fronts. I would be surprised if they do go ahead and lock it in.
Yeah, locking the Lulu, so looking to at least offer some protection from Reckless. There is a good answer though into the Lucian. We need to see some more picks before Reckless can really opt for that. Caitlyn, he can even go the likes of Vayne if he wants to, if ROCCAT Draft allows it, because I feel like ROCCAT plays pretty aggro in the early game, but they always fall apart in the mid game, so you can almost guarantee on that, and then you can play a really good team fighting composition if Fnatic wants to. They can also take the other direction where they go skirmish, give the Quinn top lane over to Gamsu and let him roam the map. A lot of options right now with these two building blocks.
Yeah, definitely a lot that they're not revealing to ROCCAT just yet. Are going to have to guess at what they want to deal with. So, do they go ahead and finish out their bottom lane by picking up that Braum, or do they try for something a little trickery? We have seen this pulled out before. Ryze has also made it through pick and ban. We haven't mentioned him as well. And
Yeah.
Betsy does take him. He's definitely been the highlight of this team, but they might need a little more than that. And I think for now, this is a smarter move. They take the Kindred, and they also will pick up Braum. So they can
I
put
would
that bottom lane.
actually love Kindred jungle, Caitlyn 80 carry, and the Lucian top lane right here for the ultimate cheese.
So much AD, man.
Because there's no There's no 80 left for Reckless to play then, other than like Misfortune almost. But we're seeing a Braum here.
They give him Quinn. They just have to at that point.
Yeah.
Ezreal's still up
Ezreal's
too.
left. Actually,
That's something that Reckless has been playing a little bit of when he's had to dip back in the pool.
All right, I take that back. I
happen.
take my cheese comment back completely. Ezreal's a completely fine AD carry, especially later in the game. If you can get Blue S to late game with Lulu, it's absolutely disgusting because nobody can touch him. The amount of kite that he can produce.
Another late game choice would be that Caitlyn too, but there's definitely still enough for Reckless to fall back on, and they don't have to take it all the way just yet. We'll see what they do decide to answer with.
Yeah, I want to see some more aggression or at least some engage coming out of the support. I really hope Noxac doesn't lock into Janna, because then otherwise Fnatic may fall into the trap that Element set for themselves last week, where they go full disengage, but if you then fall behind, you have no way of starting a fight. It makes the composition a little tricky to play, so definitely need to watch out, because ROCCAT's early game has been decent to actually great. They actually got a decent amount of leads there in the very early stages of the game.
That's a really good point. They've been able to keep even, actually, with almost all the teams they've played against up to a point. And if they can build up a significant enough lead on this bully bot lane, if they take the 2v2, that could be trouble for Reckless and Noxiac.
Yeah, ROCCAT will have to swap though. Like, you don't want to lane Lucian Braum into Janna Caitlyn. You have one shot to win that at level 3, and if you don't like get significant trade lead there, which is super hard to do, especially with teleports in the equation, you will just get outpoked and outsustained. But ROCCAT, if you look at what they can do with Braum in terms of blocking this enhanced Caitlyn once it comes online to soak up a lot of damage, then peel for the backline Betsy. He's no longer playing against the Alistar that Elements had, where they knocked Ryze all the way into Africa, as the famous voice clip played out there. ROCCAT have enough damage actually to go for these fights. They have Peel with the Kindred ulti, they have Peel with the Braum and Kite, especially if Extinct does go for the exhaust.
And they got plenty of chase.
Yeah, they got Chase with the Ryze if he does get his combo off, and more importantly, they have side lane pressure with the Fiora. It will be rough into the Quinn matchup though. I'm actually not sure if Freddy has watched this matchup enough, because Quinn is notorious as a pick being picked into Fiora, so that may actually be very rough for ROCCAT. I think it all hinges on the lane swap at this point. They dodged the 2v2 Janna Caitlyn, and they dodged a really rough Quinn Fiora matchup.
Yeah, this is a little bit strange too, since this is definitely not Freddy's forte. He has actually not picked up Fiora yet this split. I'm curious to see how he does on it, but he's all smiles at the moment.
Yeah, he's always all smiles at the start of the game. Everybody always smiles at the start of the game.
I suppose that's true, as Fnatic will take their time in deciding if they do want that Quinn matchup, and they actually lock in the Malphite, so we get to see the Quinn jungle coming back.
So we could see actually the rationale behind this pick, especially if you looked at the hovers. Fnatic hovered Lee Sin, so they want the Quinn matchup in the top lane because it's good into the Fiora, but they do recognize that they run the risk of getting lane swapped upon and then getting kind of outscaled and outfought in the mid game, so they wanted a hard engage component. Lee Sin can offer that if he flanks, but it's conditional hard engage. It's very hard to pull off, and you can get flashed out. That's why they say, well, you know what, we'll put the Quinn in the jungle and just get Malphite on get top lane on a tank engage like Malphite. That does pose the risk, then obviously that lane later on gets won by Freddy. Fiora will eventually outsustain a Malphite if he gets a lead. As we saw in the duel between Soaz, a lost game against the Atom, they're in the bottom lane. Eventually Fiora can whittle away and out pressure, but it at least offers hard engage. I like it, because otherwise Fnatic would have too much disengage, too much kite.
Well, it's definitely how much do you trust your top laner. Gamsu has shown sporadic performance as the two coaches shake hands, get ready to walk off of this one, so we'll have to see who takes it out today. But let us know on Twitter what you think at LOL Esports is the place, hashtag ROC win or hashtag FNC win. Will Fnatic rack one up on the board once again to 2-0 this week, or will ROCCAT come back and pick up their second win of the split? We'll have to find out as we get ready and get loaded onto the Rift.
And ROCCAT playing double TP.
Oh, they're getting hyped. Last game of the day, last game of the week here in Europe. Let's get ready.
Let's load onto the Rift. There they are, 5 champions and the Nexus. Beautiful.
That's how it all begins, Crepo. As you well know. To see how Airwax handles this newly re-enabled Kindred versus Spirit. He has played the Quinn before, definitely racked up an impressive score on that one.
I'm actually not sure who wins the duel in the jungle.
280 carries.
Because Kindred deals a deceptive amount of damage, but it's very hard for us to track these duels because you have the blind that Quinn can procure, but we have a very hard time tracking that as spectators. See how hard it influences decision making.
You can't play Wolf though. Extinct will find Noxiac. Throws the shield on. to start up. For the most part, though, we've got these line of scrimmage trying to deter any early aggression, any early warding attempts.
Yeah.
We might end up having the 2v2.
Yeah,
Pull something quick.
Still think to enable most of these lanes, ROCCAT will still want a lane swap. Let's see if they actually buy into it.
Minions have spawned.
Reckless and Noxiac. They'd already spotted Noxiac on the bottom side. Extinct should see them coming here.
Alright, don't reveal yourself right now, Extinct.
Oh,
Tabs
Tab
walks over
does.
the ward. That's interesting. Why
Pinged
reveal free information? He's still in that ward?
Yeah, they're not backing away either. Looks like they go to start the Krugs, actually.
Oh, oh my lord, Extinct. Okay, don't walk over the ward now. And
Oh, he did it. All right. Everything is revealed. Fnatic know what's going on. They take the 2v2.
2v2, late to lane, against double ranged. So what Reckless and Noxiac now have to do is don't touch any creeps. Like, you don't want to over push. Extinct needs to walk up and draw minion aggros to force the push, because otherwise this will get really ugly. They can literally walk up, whenever Braum Q goes on cooldown, walk up and double trade on tabs. Especially once these minions start going down a little bit. There's not a minion aggro right now. Yeah, they're getting zone of CS. Luckily, Fnatic kind of messed up this push. They over pushed, so they will be able to farm a lot on the tower. But yeah, this just shows you how hard this matchup's going to be, and it'll stay this hard. Unless we get a full Braum passive stacked up, there is nothing they can do at this moment.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard for this ROCCAT bottom lane. You heard Singh talking earlier about Extinct and the troubles he might face on this support role that he has faced already, and against Noxiac, more experience there. In terms of supporting role, Febiven takes a little damage as he returns fire onto Betsy.
Ooh, level 2 cheesy gank
Level
here from
2
Spirit with the Ignite from Febiven. Look to shut down the Rise.
Got that red buff. Let's see if he can get Betsy to step too far forward. Got to burn his flash. And there we go. In Rune Prison goes Febiven, but Betsy knows something is up and he has to run away.
Yeah.
You know, too, we didn't talk about this, but that summoners, that double teleport might come in handy for ROCCAT. Definitely will come in handy for ROCCAT if they use it wisely. But not now.
Yeah, if everyone playing with the Ignite, going for the lane win with level 2 gank, the fact that Glitter Lance missed, let me see, ROC is hiding in that brush. On your left, he's hiding in that brush, so Spirit's going to pass straight into ROC here.
Yeah, but low on the health already, so he is able to get back in and vaults right on over. Airwax will dodge. Spirit takes a lot. You talked about deceptive damage.
Jesus, he went full on Matrix on that Quinn. He just dodged that projectile, stepped out of the way. He did have the level advantage, but even with the level advantage, that was a very close trade. Betsy did not want to walk up to Spirit to not give away the gank, so he went back to lane. Extinct with the zoning Q, the most powerful of them all. Yeah, Tab needs to see if he can get any CS here and avoid the poke.
Stuck under that tower as a Lucian is not a place you want to be. Hitting level 3 though. See if he can return fire. Could have all of his spells. Got the ultimate available as he dodges forward. Reckless nets back. Takes one shot of the 2.
This is for Given's dream, by the way. Janna K into Lucian Braum with the early push.
Yeah.
That's when he wakes up happy. Because he loves playing this style. Not too much action will happen in this lane. It'll be continuous poke. We'll hear it if somebody dies. Let's take a look at some of these other lanes.
Yeah, up on the top side, Freddy and Gamsu, we talked about this since we saw it in the last matchup. Definitely a rough ask later on for Malphite, but to begin with, Gamsu is not having too much trouble. He's got a mini wave at his back, and he's not down too much CS to start things off. Spirit, meanwhile, is hanging around on this bottom side after he picks up blue buff. I'm curious to see where he goes. I have a feeling, since the lanes are going to be fairly passive, that the junglers will influence a lot of this early game.
Yeah, same case as we saw in the Giants match. It's all up to what the junglers can do here. ROC's now level 4. The fact that Betsy sidestepped that Glitter Lance and made Spirit reveal himself actually mattered so much for the early game, because it gave ROCCAT an experience lead on Airwax. It gave Betsy a momentum lead in lane. Oh! Extinct going in aggressively, forcing the play here.
Yeah, Airwax is in. He's got the Wolf Frenzy on. Reckless is caught. He's first blooded. It goes to Airwax and a well-spent flash. They nearly clip Noxiac on the back of it, too.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about. You have one shot. You have one aggressive move where you need to flash in, apply the passives, chase him down the lane. And then hopefully your jungler comes in to apply some auto attacks, and Reckless goes down, and this just buys so much time here. If Betsy can survive, this is a really good opening for ROCCAT.
Yeah, Noxiac may not be so lucky. Airwax on the chase. Extinct will force the Q after the Winter's Bite comes down. So Noxiac stays in lane and holds the line, but good start for ROCCAT. We talked about their early game, how well they're able to hold at the very least even, but they've got themselves a lead here with that first blood. 300 gold isn't much, but it's definitely a start against a team like Fnatic. Now Freddy, he's going to have to get out of the way as Spirit and Gamsu are right on him. There's the vault up. Freddy getting a little low on this Fiora, but he stays alive. Febiven, they might look for a dive here. Stops the back. Oh, he was at the shop. Uh-oh, Ignite's on. Freddy's down. Febiven just solos him.
Yeah, Fevim out of nowhere. Freddy proud of himself that he dodged that skill shot, made his way to the tower, and suddenly a wild surprise because Fevim pushed in the mid lane while Betsy TP'd back to lane and disappeared. Just want to watch that again. Could Noxiac have done something in terms of tornado? Must have been used already. Yeah, just really good closing in, applying the passives. That's the difference, or not the difference, that's the risk of playing on a long lane with Janna Caitlyn. You really need your wards out far enough that you can at least make it out before the jungler closes the gap. Good move by ROCCAT.
Turns into that nightmare. So ROCCAT got that, but Fnatic did even the kill score. They beat up on Freddy up on the top side, his Fiora debut. Definitely getting a little rougher there, but he's close on even with Gamsu in the CS department. Febivin, meanwhile, in the mid is sitting at a deficit to Betsy, but couldn't quite pull the kill out with the help of Spirit.
Yeah, because Fevim lost that lane. Betsy got a little bit of extra farm. The kill did go to Fabi, so he is actually ahead in the lane. And Gamsu only got an assist, so in terms of map impact, that kill won't matter too much as long as Betsy can stay alive. And that's why you see ROC here as well, coming in support role, making sure that he can comfortably push out that wave and let it reset. So all in all, this early game is just completely even, and things are looking surprisingly decent for ROCCAT.
Yeah, indeed. Fnatic still letting the lanes play out as they will. Have to see. Since we do know, in the weeks that we've seen Fnatic, this new squad, they've had mixed success here as ROC sets up. Tries to get the bait, but the ward will spot him. Spirit that man on your screen there.
Yeah, but you
Played
see
on a number of teams.
They're working as a team. They have triple pink ward set up already defensively, which means they can use their wards aggressively in front of it. They have deep vision in Fnatic's jungle. We saw Betsy move with ROC into the jungle, get ready. We saw Extinct. A little difficulty aiming with the shield, you know, to learn that support role, but
Sometimes goes sideways.
we see people work together on this ROCCAT squad, which is showing some signs of early game brilliance, at least in the making, compared to Giants, who are just really looking for even that already.
Well, despite the rough start in the CS that Tabs and Extinct had, you can definitely see a marked difference from Saphir's performance as Freddy goes in onto Gamsu here. The duel commences. We've seen so many fights like this in our previous game.
All right, look at bot lane right now. We have a lane gank from level 5 Spirit.
ROC isn't far behind.
ROC's level 6 counter. This could be ugly. Look at Reckless' item build as well. Because of that well-timed gank from ROC, he couldn't get his BF sword, so he couldn't break open this matchup. Playing this lane on a pickaxe is a complete difference, as opposed to having a BF available with the Janna shield to get even more damage. So suddenly, the Lucian Brown lane is even farming to the Janna Kate.
Spirit's help, they'll be able to keep Extinct and Tabs way far under this tower. The time being, Reckless dodging out all the damage. And it looks like Fevivin might be in for a pincer if he steps too far out. ROC is around the side here. The Rune Prison comes in. Low on mana. Have to use his ultimate and his flash to go in. ROC was tanking the tower, but he gets the kill. And in comes the big rock. But there goes the Lamb's Respite. ROC dueling 1v2. Betsy around the side to try and help. Shut down gold over to Spirit with Noxiac coming in at the last second.
Yeah,
one
good
for
communication. Good read there by Betsy. Doesn't go for the green return kill onto the enemy jungler because he knows the support was roaming, but this lead, Reckless exposed.
Yep, Tabs sends out a big culling, but he doesn't hit enough of Reckless, and Extinct is the one who has to throw the unbreakable shield down. Reckless will be able to cause some counter pressure pushing there as Spirit and Valor form hightails down.
Yeah, but he passed the pink ward in the pixel brush in the river, so really good usage of these defensive pink wards. That spotted the roam from Noxiac mid, which then prompted the engage bottom, which forced Reckless to use his heal. It also spotted Spirit's movement. Now Spirit gets spotted in the jungle again. ROCCAT's vision control is allowing them to keep complete tabs on what Fnatic is doing.
Tabs himself has been able to keep this lane in check despite falling down a little bit of CS. He's still hanging strong. ROCCAT are really looking good in this early game, and it's something that we have said with hope in our voices this split, but it's come crashing down way too many times for them. I'm curious to see if they can keep it up this game. For now, it's dead even at 10 minutes on the mark.
Yeah, and they have the mid to late game insurance too. By no means did they get outscaled, especially later in the game. If you consider that Braum, any champion with pure denial in their kit, think about vision denial of potentially the Graves, or just projectile denial like Yasuo Windwall and Braum Unbreakable, just can have such a high impact in the later stages of the game. Extinct can completely nullify Reckless's damage with good positioning.
Yeah, we have definitely seen an abundance of Brahms, but Extinct is pulling this one out in style. Now ROC's looking
for the
once again, there he goes, and he forces the wild growth. In comes Betsy, into Rune Prison he goes, bada boom!
Look
Airwax
at the
gets the kill.
synergy between Airwax and Betsy. Anywhere Febiven goes, he just gets completely jumped on. Doesn't matter if you're running Ignite Lulu. 2v1, it won't help you. Really good synergy. And Airwax, again, moving in aggressively. They're keeping Spirit in check. Yes, Tabs and Extinct, they're eating some trade damage here, but Janna Lucian will never kill you. They'll just whittle you down and zone you from CS. But ROCCAT, really using that strong core in the mid-jungle synergy here to get their lead.
Absolutely. I thought Lulu was a safe champion, but Febiven is finding out the hard way that that is not always the case when your pathing isn't solid. A lot of vision in that river brush, or in that river for ROCCAT has netted them yet another kill.
And no teleport either, so that means when he does make a mistake or he gets caught, he has to path back into the lane. And he's now 30 CS down, and he can't even get to lane in time, so he's continuously losing CS every mistake he makes.
Yeah, I really want to compare these junglers too, because Spirit's definitely been making moves on the map, but it really has been Airwax on this Kindred who's showing up and impressing. He's gotten all the kills this game, and this is a champion that definitely scales pretty hard. I mean, this is impressive to do against a guy like Spirit. I mean, this guy pretty much single-handedly carried World Elite last year.
I mean, yeah, yes and no. Like, he played very well with World Elite, but he also played a very risky style where he felt he was to be a one-man carry, and if it didn't work out, he fell far behind too. And we saw at times, especially, was it last week or the week before, when Spirit was playing Graves and continuously overextending against G2. Got killed by the enemy mid laner a couple of times, so
Not
Spirit
perfect.
by no means has been impeccable on the Fnatic lineup.
Something to worry about for Fnatic down the line too. Talked about them rebuilding. 3 new members. 2 Koreans, 1 from NA, 1 from China, but they've been bringing it all back together, and they've got time still on the board. If they can take this win, they'll end their first 2-0 week.
Yeah, let's still look at the composition that Fnatic have drafted. The one part we haven't talked too much is Gamsu, because he's locked up in a farm lane and top lane. We need to see some flanks or teleports from him to enable the remaining 4 members. Spirit is kind of the only skirmish component. Other than that, Fnatic have built a very poke siege heavy composition that can whack away at towers, but they need the hard engage component. So look at Gamsu, see if he can use that deep ward, for example, right there that you see on the left side of your screen above tabs. If he can teleport there, force a kill or force some flashes, then suddenly tower or bottom lane will fall and Fnatic can start opening up the map.
Extinct steps forward now. Maybe now is the right time to do it as they jump onto Reckless and Noxiac, but
Need to see a teleport.
he's locked up. There's the ultimate Reckless. They're going to have to get Janna Monsoon out, but no teleport coming in for Gamsu.
I mean, if Gamsu just channels TP instantly there, Tabs and Extinct are just dead in the water before Freddy can even react, so lack of communication here on the side of Fnatic.
Yeah, both junglers already coming in. They're actually going to meet each other, Spirit and Airwax. Airwax doesn't know this one's coming, and there we go. Ace in the hole, but he's invincible. Thanks to the Lambs, despite Betsy was there for some backup. Airwax dodges a bullet, or takes it, but he shields himself up.
Yeah, a little early on the trigger there for Reckless. Wants to help with the damage, but Kaelin ulti's so good against Kindred ulti because you can just channel it afterwards, and as he walks away, really go for the kill.
Jumping the gun, that's for sure. Freddy, a little bit of damage under this tower, but very disappointed Gamsu wasn't able to spend his teleport as Febiven now comes in for another dive onto Freddy.
Yeah, he snuck by, wasn't spotted, no ping, so they don't know this is coming.
Well, Freddy is knocked up, now he knows something's up, ignited, and issues the challenge way too late.
I love the way Gamsu did that, because Freddy will never expect a random ultimate there, because 1v1, it will not lead to a kill. And as Febiven enters just the edge of the vision range, Gamsu engages, and that allows for another Glitter Lance to come through without riposte being used, and at that point, Freddy just straight up dead, so that was a well-executed gank and another fantastic roam from Febiven.
Yep, so far those have been netting some results, but it is in this bottom lane that ROCCAT is giving Fnatic a hard time here. With the help occasionally of Airwax, Reckless and Noxiac getting knocked back. Gotta be careful. Caitlyn is still gonna have a hard time in this mid game, and he's yet to pick up a kill on the board. He definitely leads the CS department, but it will be a while before Fnatic can make huge use of this AD carry. Airwax now roving around. Will he run into Spirit again as the ward gets cleared out?
And yeah, with the changes on 6-2 into some AP itemizations, we see the Athenes being picked up over the Frost Queens for Febiven. Means a lot of mana regen, a lot of magic resistance into the Rise too, so he can safely start contesting these waves.
No more spooky ghosts.
No more spooky ghosts. He does want this blue buff.
So he may not be able to get it though. 2 people there if he can go in and try to get the steal, but Spirit is covering the bases, and he vaults on over him. It's smited. Airwax got it.
They didn't respect the fact. I think there was a ward in the brush. There should have been. I thought I saw one.
He's sneaky, man.
Double checking. Yeah, there was a fading ward in that brush.
Get the timer.
Whose ward was that? Yeah, from Airwax, and that means Airwax could see in the brush and eventually got the smite down. So they were trying to leave it in the brush, give it to Febiven. Should have probably just secured it with smite from Spirit.
You get a little greedy for your smite there, you're going to run into a bad time. So Tabs and Reckless trade fire. Airwax is biding his time. He's got that newly acquired blue buff.
Ooh, Spirit can pass straight into Airwax here.
Yeah, he can, but they don't see him coming. There's a teleport coming in now, but it is Freddy's, and Reckless is left for dead. Don't even need to finish channeling it. They take him out.
He couldn't see anything right there, so he had the Quinn blind on top of him. Especially, we didn't see it, so we're like, Reckless, what are you doing? But he couldn't see anything, so he just walked forward, sacrificed his life, made sure his support got out alive. They traded the teleport cooldown there from Betsy. They didn't even know who even teleported, I think, so... Remember, Freddy still has his available to match Gamsu. So ROCCAT, again, with a good aggressive move.
Yeah, Airwax is getting big here. Has every kill on the board. And he has been sitting near that bottom lane. Likewise, Fnatic, they've been doing the mid lane to the top gank, and it's Freddy who's had the trouble, but Fnatic haven't been getting much done else, apart from that. Sitting behind, 400 gold, it is not that big of a deal at 16.5 minutes on the clock, but they're still letting this lane phase pay out very slowly.
They're falling into the composition trap that Elements fell into too, with double disengage and enhance the AD carry competition with a jungler that can't really hard engage. They're just finding it hard to find proactive plays. The only really good plays have been some fantastic roams. Honestly, good game reads here by Fevin to go for those plays. Shows that he really understands this game, especially when he's losing in lane to make those roams. That it's really, really impressive. But other than that, Fnatic, what can they do? Can they group up somewhere? No towers have gone down yet. When Fnatic are playing a very siege-heavy competition, as opposed to ROCCAT, they're completely fine with this. Even lanes, everybody's farming, going into the mid to late game, they want this.
Yeah, ROCCAT are definitely going to be happy scaling up, especially with that Kindred already sitting on the 4 kills, as you see Daylor in the picture, just watching, absorbing what he can from this game.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to tell. Like, Daylor could be winning or losing.
Well, he's got a poker face, that's for sure. But Fresh, though, I mean, he's got to be happy about this start as Tabs takes a huge hit of damage. They turn it back around to Reckless, but the knockup comes in, and all of a sudden, Airwax is there, but Extinct picks the kill up.
Yeah, Extinct with a perfectly timed shield, just blocking the Janna Tornado, and then the damage from Reckless. It doesn't matter that Tabs goes in over eager at the start of that trade, because we talked about it before. Denial of damage is just so strong of a mechanic, and then Airwax comes in to finish it off.
Oh, Freddy, we've seen this story before, but it's Spirit who's turning the pages. Freddy's gonna go down, knocked up by Gamsu, taken out by Spirit, will result in the tower trade as Tabs take it out down bottom, but it's a dragon for ROCCAT as well.
Yeah, but the only time this will start mattering is if Freddy loses the ability to hold Gamsu in a 1v1 trade. If that never goes out the window, then it's okay that he's 0-3. It's never okay, but it's manageable. I mean, ROCCAT are getting bigger wins at the other side of the map.
When you're shutting down the split push champion that should be able to get to that point with levels anyways, it's definitely not looking great for Fnatic if that's all they can get on the map.
Yeah.
Airwax is huge. The bottom lane has started to roll ahead despite the CS differential. And Betsy's on rise.
Yeah, I was watching the third game of today, the Unicorns game in the player room, and a lot of players were very adamant about the level 16 power spike of Fiora. They said, well, she doesn't even need items. If she had 0 items on level 16, she could still kill Malphite. Slight exaggeration, as we are often used to by some of the players, but yeah, once Freddy gets to level 16, it's a very, very tough task for Gamsu to duel him.
That is absolutely true, and ROCCAT have not even needed Freddy. He spent his teleport, then canceled it in that engage down on the bottom side. So there will be some free push as Spirit has zoned Freddy away, moving down to this bottom side. Really don't want to take that into Quinn, so they should be able to get this tower in the bottom, but again, it's traded in the top as Tabs is free pushing. Solo experience, solo tower gold, and they're going to give the Rift Herald over. We'll see what ROCCAT do with this. I think Airwax takes it, no problem.
I think it's too slow a play to look at the bottom lane, because right now we have the zone from Malphite. That means Reckless can siege untouched on that bot lane tower, so we need to see if ROCCAT can trade, because there's a good chance that Fnatic continue the siege here, and they go actually for a base tower. They have no reason to back off because they have the backup from Quinn. Potential dive in the mid lane. This is a very slow play. Going for that Rift Herald slows ROCCAT down, and another mid-game mistake that we see yet and yet again.
That is true. Fnatic on the base now, but only 3 minions to boot. Freddy's there, but they might just try to tank this one up. The tower's gone, but Tabs is already backing away. Rift Herald for Airwax. No one's there to defend. The tower is gone as Freddy and Extinct have moved up. If they can trade, it may be worth, but still Fnatic are backing away now.
Alright, so they need to see if they can hold here. Airwax is still pushing. He has the Herald buff, so that's good. Gamsu should have likely TP'd a little earlier there. Overstayed is welcome, so ROCCAT stay calm, be collected, and they don't send everybody back to base. That was a really important decision. Many teams right there ROC may pay the price for this, but
Yeah, Spirit's trying. He gets the jump on, and Airwax, half his health is gone. He might be in some serious trouble. Throws down the Lamb's Respite. Thinks he can 1v2 for just a minute. Otherwise, he's dead anyways, but shut down. It goes to Noxiac.
yeah, he didn't want to run out of his ulti because then the Lulu Q would snipe him, so he's just buying as much time as he can. Yeah, and that's the price they pay from reacting to the Fnatic play. They were continuously behind the play, and eventually the last play to make was killing ROC. But the good thing that he stayed though, even up that tower. As long as the Baron doesn't drop on this play, Fnatic should still be able to be kept in check by ROCCAT.
Spent that ultimate on Extinct because he took a massive chunk. Spirit is angry. 2-0-2 on this Quinn, and he is trying to influence the map best he can. Mid tower, under siege, still
Look for TP
Airwax.
flying at the Raptor Brush. Below the Raptor Brush, there's a ward for Gamsu. So that's what they're eyeing on. If Fnatic get engaged on by ROCCAT here, that's where we'll see him show up.
That was a huge siege on the tower. Fnatic making moves when they can. Spirit spotted by that ward as he goes into Valor form, look to push the wave on the top side, so they settle into a 1-3-1.
Yeah, 1-3-1 here. Using the mobility from their jungler and the vision they've procured on the last push to at least push in the side lanes, force ROCCAT to decide, do you want to go for teamfight mid?
Or do you want to go for Spirit dead? It's Betsy out of the brushes.
Overextend and die. That works too. Betsy gets killed.
Yep, and they got to back away from this one. Reckless, all the shields are on him. Airwax is incredibly low in this one. They ball him back with a Monsoon. Reckless wants more as he gets the Wild Growth on, looking for Freddy, but Tabs picks up Reckless with a massive calling. And ROCCAT back away.
You have to wonder where the scare TP is from Gamsu. You not always have to land your TP. If you just start channeling it right there, you can disincentivize people from actually continuing to go for that play, because right now, you'll have to TP anyways, because ROCCAT's starting Baron.
Yeah, and they see this one, but it's already at half its health. Gamsu, he's starting the TP, but this one's going in pretty late. The Baron is going down. Can Noxiac stop this? It's secured. Tabs picks it up. Gamsu and Noxiac, as Feathervin was a little late to the party. Gamsu not able to get enough done. If he can take out Tabs, it might be a consolation prize, but Gamsu almost goes down himself. Noxiac fell in that one, and in comes Spirit, shuts down Tabs. It's a 2-for-1, but the Baron on 3 members of ROCCAT.
Yeah, slightly comical fight there overall. Tabs was yelling for his team in the Baron pit. They left him there with Gamsu. But sloppy play overall. It all starts here. So Fnatic go for a siege. Spirit is dead right now, so that's why Fnatic want to avoid fights. But if Gamsu just TPs on a minion here and cancels, you can bet your money that Tabs, Freddy, and Airwax will all start running in fear. But because they don't, Reckless can't actually make it out alive. He ends up dying. Right now they move to the Baron. We need to see the TP right now, anytime. Gamsu, just press the button. Threaten with your ultimate. Don't TP in the pit. Way too late right now. The ward is disabled. They don't even see what the Baron's at. Noxiac walks in, the Baron's dead and playing from behind. Yeah, of course, Tabs is now locked in with Gamsu. Let's watch that epic 1v1.
But he says, you're locked in here with me.
Yep.
And Gamsu says, no thank you, until Spirit does his thing. But that was just messy from Fnatic. Not what we're used to seeing. Even with the communication issues, they should be reacting faster than this. ROCCAT take down the outer turret. It was a long time coming. 5-5 in towers on the board. They've got themselves a Gold Lead. They've got Baron buff on 3.
Zero hesitation though from ROCCAT. Something we haven't really seen from them.
Very true.
Zero hesitation on their plays in the mid game. Some creative roams. We saw Betsy snipe Spirit, aware of the vision. Gotta be careful right now, overreaching for this tower, but a well-drafted composition that does well in the mid to late game. They don't put all their money in the early game, yet they still win it. And Extinct actually with his first good support performance. Things are coming together for the ROCCAT squad.
Absolutely. Airwax on a magnificent jungle performance on this Kindred so far. Freddy also, it's about time we've gotten to see him on a champion like Fiora. And I'm wondering what took him so long. We criticized him last week for his Maokai pickup that didn't really do, or yesterday, that didn't really do much of anything. But this Fiora, despite going down 0-3, he's had a big impact.
And we have to take a look at Fnatic too. Their shot caller right now, the main shot caller is allegedly a Reckless and Feathervin in the mid game. Shot calling when you're ahead is doable. Shot calling when you're behind as an AD carry is incredibly hard. So Reckless right now forced into the Caitlyn pick because of the AD carry bans and picks. And now it's a shot call from behind, and hopefully
could have gone Ezreal.
It's on the Koreans to carry her now. Yeah, Gamsu and Spirit need to find a way to use their good skill scores and their gold to find an opening.
So with an open inhibitor in the top side and one in the bottom for ROCCAT, that base race definitely had some serious ramifications at 25 minutes, 6 towers to 5. But ROCCAT, as you mentioned, being very proactive in the mid and late game. For the first time we've seen them this split, they're possibly on track here to pick up their second win.
I mean, just start playing out a team fight in your head. Where's the damage coming from Fnatic? They need a one-shot, but
they need a big Gamsu ult.
Look at Gamsu. He's Sunfire Frozen Fist and Thornmail, he's relying mostly on his base damages. Featherman is gonna likely put the shield on Reckless for damage amplification. If Extinct gets a good shield up, that's out of the window, so it's only Spirit that's left then. And compare that to Betsy's Artillery Rise and Airwax base damage, Freddy's base damage.
Well, as we see the culling come out here, Spirit and Noxiac just can't hold the line for the moment. There's so much defensive stats for MR on Fnatic's side, and it's only this Rise. Yes, they're right to be afraid of him, but Airwax has been big. Tabs has been able to come up big and pick up a kill. Freddy, with the AD damage, has been able to split push a little bit here. Right. ROCCAT are firing on a lot of cylinders right now, and Fnatic are having trouble slowing them down.
Fnatic need to pick somebody off. They need to wait for ROCCAT to get greedy. That could be right now, though. Betsy's stuck in the top lane pushing. He has teleport, but it does take a couple of seconds to channel. Desperately trying to hold on to this tower. Spirit's moving top. Fevin's moving top, so they might try to 2v1 the Rise right now.
They are looking for it. Fevin going a little bit low. Reckless helping out with the ace in the hole. Noxiac gets the slowdown, and Betsy is shut down by Spirit, but at the cost of a tower, they paid the iron price for it.
Yeah, but good move here by Fnatic. And taking the iron prize is used wrong, but
I know. I just wanted to use it anyway.
I know, but just before we get the wrath of 1,000 Redditors on us again.
I'm sorry, guys. It's my fault.
Anyways, good move by Fnatic. That tower was lost anyways. So in terms of what they gained is they stopped the split push, which was the main goal. Yes, they sacrificed 300 HP tower, but they find an opening on Betsy, and ROCCAT showing now a little bit, you know, they're not used to split pushing 4-1 at 25 minutes in the game. They're used to being split pushed upon 4-1 at 25 minutes in the game. So yeah, things changed.
Good situation for them. 2,500 gold up. We'll take a look at that Baron power play. It's not huge. It's about roughly the value of the Baron itself, but for ROCCAT, that is always a positive thing. As you mentioned before, we'll be on the Koreans to carry. Positive scores for them on the board, but it is a tall ask when this comp is a bit hodgepodge for Fnatic, trying to find the fight.
What's hodgepodge?
All sorts of different things patched together.
All right.
I know I've got the right definition for that one.
I don't know, man. Just
we'll look it up later.
Hodgepodge.
You're welcome.
Sounds like a movie. And that's Hot Fuzz.
That's a great movie, by the way. I've watched that like 20 times. Love me some Edgar Wright. But back to this game. We're about 28 minutes in. So ROCCAT is still holding that gold lead. It is a bit slim, but they did grow it with the Baron. They've had good control of the sideways, but for the moment, the top is actually pushing against them, so they send Betsy back up there. He nearly was able to, well, he got a lot of damage on the inhibitor.
Yep.
But then he got double teamed and taken out. So Fnatic's still showing that they're able to react to this, that they're able to hold the line. But as you said, how are they going to come back into it?
Yeah, quarter teamed almost, so really good rotation there. Baron
blocked.
Is 1 minute away. You guys don't know that because you don't have timer, but I am psychic. And by psychic, I mean somebody's whispering that into my ear. So about 50 seconds right now for the Baron. So that's why Fnatic's pushing up, trying to zone off ROCCAT. They want to force ROCCAT in the mid lane, hopefully in about like 40 seconds from now, so that then they can path to the Baron. If not, they'll just siege. Really good poke here.
That was good.
Those two traps in the choke points are fantastic. Caitlyn is a great siege tool.
Just forces the ult out of tabs. Can't quite clear the wave too. It was being tanked up for just a moment by shielded Reckless and Noxiac.
So we can see the priority. Fnatic don't really care about the vision denial around Baron just yet. They want this tier 2 tower. And once they're grouped up, Fnatic, with their hodgepodge composition, achieve their goal. They have a four-man siege composition with one hard engage. Gamsu can also tank these towers. Just need to be careful of flanks.
Oh, Extinct. He's able to miss, or he misses over the Raptor pit, so...
That's big. That's
nice
really
move,
big.
But that's down. Fnatic know that they've got a chance to finish this one in the tower department. Gamsu goes a little far forward, but he's a big tanky rock he can handle for just a moment. Or can he? Has to ult defensively, that's also huge. And in goes Betsy, puts Reckless in Rune Prison, and Tab takes him out! Extinct is looking for more now, as Airwax steps forward. He has the Wolf's Frenzy on, but he steps right out of it. He's gonna have to get the Lamps Respite down, just to stay alive. Close calls, and they only take Reckless down.
Yeah, I don't think in this composition, Gamsu can ever afford to use his ulti defensively. If anything, just flash out. You need to keep that zone for any turn damage, because the second the Gamsu ultimate is out of the equation, Betsy can just flash in aggressively. Reckless does not have QSS available just yet. He got popped. Right now, ROCCAT indicates so. Baron goes down for them. Gamsu is caught again.
They are so low, though, and Betsy is the healthiest along the tabs. They don't lose a man, though, as they sent Airwax back very quickly with the empowered recall. They've also got a big wave building in the top side. Fnatic, no, they lost that battle, but they've got to get back a defender. They'll lose the war, too.
Yep. ROCCAT with another Baron here. Another decisive call and a really bold move from Betsy flashing in, but we have to question, could Gamsu have triggered forward with that unstoppable force. And actually just went for the hard engage on top of Betsy.
Yeah.
Or should Noxic have flashed in, disengaged, and see if they could have saved the Gamsu ultimate, at least to have some more teamfight potential, because when that drops, yeah, Fnatic can only run away.
Well, that's a big issue, too. They're relying on him for damage. At the very least, his build is starting to reflect it since he picked up the Abyssal Scepter, but is it too little too late, and especially having to use that defensively? ROCCAT take Dragon number 3 to Fnatic 0. Controlling the map now, all around the side. Things we were praising Fnatic for a little bit more earlier on. This time, it's ROCCAT that are definitely driving it forward. 5,000 gold in the lead, 2 towers ahead, and 3 dragons to zip. They've got the tools, but can they close it out?
Yeah, and we saw the potential of the Reckless Poke, you know, being buffed up by Janna, being buffed up by the health picks, but he's just a little bit behind. He's 0-5 right now, has a lot of farm though. Right now he has QSS, so the next time Betsy flashes on him, he can break that Rune Prison and jump out. And we need to see how well can he position in the front of these 5 ROCCAT members and just whittle away, poke them out, because he's thinking he can block damage, but he will go low.
Yeah, but Reckless will as well. Tabs with another beautiful pulling.
No life
Don't
steal.
come off. No life steal, but none needed there. Well, at least on the side of ROCCAT, they have a little bit more for themselves, and they poke themselves down an inhibitor. That will be the first of the game. ROCCAT leading the charge at 32 minutes here. Proactive, something we are not used to seeing.
Yeah, they have the lead right now. They have a really good late game composition, but by no means is Fnatic truly ever out of the equation. Talk about that later. Let's see this again. Gamsu, can he turn? That's just something I want to just ask myself. Didn't quite see it. Because at this point, if you ulti out, I think Noxic has to flash in and disengage here. And then, or Gamsu has to turn. I think that was the best option, because if you allow this to happen, you're just completely misplaying. The Noxic ulti comes out when Reckless is already dead. They really need to start valuing their engage a little more, or they can't play that far forward. If you want to play that far forward, you have to be ready to make the split-second decisions in which you have to turn. Because you know if you run, you will die anyways and lose the Baron.
Yeah, despite only getting a kill there, ROCCAT were very decisive about moving towards that Baron, and they were able to secure it. And they are the ones roving around this bottom side. Wave is just about even in the top, courtesy of Gamsu, but he's got to back away. Still got no teleport available. Spirit, speedy though he is, can he defend against this Baron-empowered push? With Febivin and Noxiac there, it's not looking likely at the moment. Extinct, Betsy, Airwax coming in. They're just dealing as much as they can, and Freddy splitting around the bottom has forced Gamsu's attention as well. Can they keep the line held here? Fnatic, as you said, they're never truly out of a game, but we have had some heart pounders, and this time, Fnatic are on both back feet, really.
Yeah, we have some traps here though. If look at overstep, Culling goes down. So Reckless doesn't take any damage, has life steal available right now too, so big fight. They need to kill him in one go, because the second rotation of shields could spell the difference between a won and lost fight. Look at the top lane too. They need to push this in. They need to use this to draw a third member from Fnatic away. You know, one in the bot lane, or second member rather. One holding Freddy in the bot lane. Then they need one guy to hold top lane, and then to brute force using that massive wave right now in the top lane. Keep your eyes on it. If somebody goes defended, that is the trigger warning for ROCCAT to go aggressively. Betsy has flash again. Extinct, wasted shield.
Spooky Ghost come out. Was a little bit of a later pickup for Noxiac, or rather secured pickup for Noxiac, but ROCCAT are able to back away. No more Baron buff this time, so the line has been held, but you take a look at the super minion. Spirit's attention is split. This is still a chance for ROCCAT to chase, and now Freddy looking for Gamsu. We talked about the dueling potential there for that Fjord. Grand challenge is issued, finds one vital, will not find a second, but back to the mid lane now. This tower is so low, but ROCCAT can't finish it.
Yeah, Reckless cleaned that wave with his Runons.
Oh, Freddy, okay. And in comes Gamsu! About time he jumps, but it's way too late, and the team's not there! Can he run as fast as he can? No! It's Betsy who secures the shutdown! And now ROCCAT a little low, Reckless still with the poke, but it is a 1 for none.
Yeah, Gamsu a little trigger happy right there. Not too much comes off the back of that one, because you just see the Runons damage here in these team fights from Reckless. Every shot going 3 ways, applying one mark of his passive, stacking up to that headshot every time. Yeah, Caitlyn in a brush, I believe. With Runons.
That's a lot of bolts.
Yeah, gets a headshot, like what, every second hit?
Something like that. You get the double stack for sitting in a brush, so...
Well, it's every single hit, yeah.
Oh, at that point? Yeah.
That was what it was. It didn't get changed, to my knowledge. Just gonna read up.
Hurricane Kaelin's definitely something to be feared. Reckless has been holding it for sure. Let's take a look at this again as Gamsu makes the fatal mistake. There it is.
Yeah, it goes in too much.
That flash from Betsy secured it.
The role of Gamsu's ultimate unstoppable force is only to lock people in place for other people to deal damage.
Yeah, well, Gamsu's away. ROCCAT will play, and they completely take down that turret, looking for inhibitor number 2. So this one is down. Fnatic have 2 holes in their base instead of 1. And ROCCAT do get away. Spirit wants to try and make a play on him, but he won't get there in time.
Yeah, no deep wards for teleport, and again, the death timers right now are so long. Yeah, he went 1 for 1, but ROCCAT can just siege up and push in because it's so easy to zone away Reckless at this point when there's no threat of re-engage. Looking at 1 minute until the next Baron for you guys wondering at home. Spectator bug, unfortunately, will be fixed, hopefully soon TM.
But ROCCAT are aware of it for sure.
Yeah, the players have the timer, so it's only us spectators that have to start guessing.
Let's take a look at how this game has trended. There have been some slim times where Fnatic has had that lead, but ROCCAT have just steadily built it up, banked it away, and are forcing Fnatic back time and time again. ROCCAT should be in a good position for this next Baron that will be coming up, but they send Freddy down to the bottom side to push it out. He's got TP available. Gamsu's got the same. Fnatic are still in a hole. Can they climb themselves out?
Yeah, Mercurial's finished up right now though for Reckless, and that obviously has a little bit of lifesteal on it right now. So it's a really good 4-item build, because usually if you had to go 3 power items plus QSS into Mercurial, you didn't have any lifesteal, so you were still at risk of getting blown up. But it just makes for a fantastic 4th item.
Yeah.
Reckless can choose going Lost Whisper, which he doesn't really need. Probably looking at a BT as his last option here.
Speaking of items too, you look at Devin, despite those early plays he was able to make up in the top side, so down in gold. 3,000 compared to Betsy, I mean, that is a massive difference, and you can see the late game rise is coming in so handy. I feel like we've talked about a lot of traps and champion picks. I feel like the Lulu's a pretty big trap here that Fnatic fell into.
I mean, you play towards a goal, which is a spike in the mid game, and to enable your AD carry. If your AD carry happens to go 0-5, and you can't really win out, yeah, then things like these pokes right here that Rex is doing are happening too late.
Yeah. Still can't secure that tower, and they've got to go back and deal with Freddy. Look at him, he's nearly at the base, and now all of a sudden Fnatic realizes, uh-oh, bad things are happening. They send back Gamsu, they send back Spirit, and all the rest of the ROCCAT are sitting in the mid. Freddy though, he's got to deal with a 1v2, or maybe not, because there's a teleport coming in, will instantly force the back.
Yeah, no Ignite on Betsy this game. Teleport saves Freddy, because otherwise Freddy would have dropped dead right there,
Yeah.
and that would have been complete control of the map for Fnatic. Likely of Baron too, so really good teleport helping from Betsy. Slight overextension here from Freddy, because you can never go that far unless your team can take something on the other part of the map 3v4 while 2 guys try to 2v1 you.
Yep, they tried to gank the teleport, but Betsy was able to teleport in himself. So, Dragon number 4 secured for ROCCAT. Fnatic have still yet to get one on the board. If this game keeps going, this sets them up now for the possibility of finishing with the Baron or with Dragon 5.
Yeah, multiple win conditions here, but Fnatic only need 1 fight. Death timers are so long right now that one good fight wins in the game, and Reckless can single-handedly, as I say that, with the help of his teammates.
Yeah, single-handedly with the help.
It's like, yeah, when a support makes the play and they go, good job, AD carry. TLDR, Reckless can carry these fights, especially being enabled by both the Lulu and the Diana.
38 minutes on a Caitlyn, even if you're 0-5, is definitely something not to sneeze at. But the issue is they need Gamsu to make a big play on his ultimate. We've not seen that today. He's barely gone forward with it, and the last time he did, it ended in absolute disaster.
I mean, 0-5 doesn't matter when you have 420 CS right now.
Yeah.
The 39-minute mark. I'm actually going to rephrase that 413 because
Okay.
I know a wealth of comments will come.
It's
number.
too late.
It's too late.
We've already unleashed the horde, so unfortunately, we'll have to see what happens.
Good trap
Lane
here.
is open here.
Love these traps. Every time Caitlyn
Excellent.
sieges, you can just put people in a prison. And again, we can trap off the right side or the left side here with the Caitlyn. And they just want to force Rocket to the mid lane, but we see a flank here from Extinct and Betsy.
Gets a big knockup, and all of a sudden there is a massive culling. Shutdown goes over to Airwax though, so they've already lost Spirit, and that is a lot of attack damage. In goes the rest of ROCCAT. They get knocked up by Gamsu, but they keep on chugging. Fevivin turns around on taps, but the rest of Fnatic are dropping like flies. Noxiac's down. It's only Reckless and Fevi, and that can't last long. This has got to be it. A double kill to Airwax. Fevivin flashing. Can he stay alive? I think he's going to be able to, but that's got to be Barrett.
Yeah, some really good kiting here overall from the Fnatic lineup, but just not enough stutter steps here from Reckless coming out. I think ROCCAT is basing to go for the finish. Almost has to be.
Well, long death
seconds.
timers.
How quick can you run across the map?
20 on Spirit,
Upward coming
24
in.
on Noxiac.
I mean, Fabi can't hold these waves. We have super creep. This should be the game.
Yeah, they don't need to worry about that wave in the top side since they're already on the base, so
Hang on.
last inhibitor turret is down.
Noxiac's up in 10, so they're taking a safe path. They don't want to risk it all. They're going for the double inhibit to the Baron likely. I mean, at this point, ROC and Extinct should be running towards the Baron.
Yeah, they're just getting the one in him. So they got 2 down on the bottom side, but that's the pressure that they have to deter Fnatic from trying to contest this Baron. Fnatic, though, they have to make plays, but it's 10 seconds still on Gamsu, 12 seconds still on Reckless. They can just start it off now.
I mean, watch Spirit go for the drive-by.
Oh, he will. Did he get the snipe? Nope, he is going to get locked up, and he is taken down. Airwax deletes the smite off the map, and they are right back to the big purple worm.
Yeah, ROCCAT realized that the Baron Rush kind of failed, so they need to wait for someone to come face check. They use their vision advantage to completely take out Spirit.
And they read us.
And right now, 4v5 with Baron buff. 2 open inhibs, 1 down already. Yeah,
That's
could be it.
Baron.
Let's watch that fight again. Keep your eyes on Reckless, because he has to carry. Doesn't cancel any all attacks or anything. You see what's going on here. Has to do as much damage as he can. Gets zoned by Betsy here. Good QSS here instantly. Walks away. Gets out tabs here. Yeah, that's 1 cancelled auto, I think, but it's so hard to play these fights. You can't almost afford to use any abilities because the cast times of your 90 caliber net and your Q, it just costs you too much time, but he's getting overrun. It's too hard. Complete Zerg here from ROCCAT.
It's hard for the comp that they ended up drafting, and now you can see ROCCAT trying to push for the finish here. The Caitlyn trap line will just get eaten up by Extinct as they step on forward, and that's a man who's definitely had some solid ultimates this game. A few misfires, too.
Oh, he got Airwax!
Oh, Airwax is already down! Holy snipe! Extinct now on the run, but he's isolated from his team. This could be the fatal mistake that Fnatic was looking for. An inhibitor comes back up in the middle, and timely too.
Betsy has no flash available. Unstoppable Force available in Gamsu. They can just walk up, try and find him. Betsy's on the right side. He's been spot out.
Uh-oh. Betsy on the run. Buying as much time as he can, but Spirit will zoom, looking for him.
Just don't go for the fight.
It's
Yeah,
the
look,
hole.
Spirit being smart here.
Yep, Betsy's trying to buy even more time for the cooldowns to come up, but Betsy won't be able to do any more. Spirit, half his health is gone, but the outplay was there. I guess it's easier when you've got some allies in your back.
I mean, 30 seconds still, so far away from the base. I think I've called the game 3 times already,
There's
but
nothing for them to take, though, other than the base.
we need to get there.
Yeah, well, they're not in a rush. I think Fnatic are just happy to have a breathing moment.
I don't know, man. If I'm playing against late game Rise, I'd be in a rush.
There's a problem there. That's true.
Who needs Nexus Towers anyways?
Yeah, I guess. Well, Gamsu wants to save him, so he's able to get the cleanup going, but Eric's is about to come back up. Extinct is, so Betsy's the only one not here to defend, but it's a 4v4 unless they bring Gamsu.
They will bring Gamsu. Betsy is dead for 30 seconds. The problem is there's no Baron enhanced minions right now. Reckless.
They need Gamsu. Reckless is so low. The Monsoon's coming in to heal him up. Airwax has already thrown down the Lamb's Respite, and Spirit comes back on in. Tower is gone. ROCCAT's defense has failed. Inhibitor going down here very shortly, but Reckless is on the chase. Man, he's looking aggressive. Into Baron empowered minions. They then try to turn it down to the bottom. That one mistake from ROCCAT, they were looking so good, but just like that, they have lost 2 inhibitors.
Remember, Gamsu's walking over. He walked here because he wants to keep his teleport available in case some shenanigans with teleport happen on the ROCCAT side.
Teleport up to the top. That's going to be spent by Betsy here. Can he take himself a sneaky inhibitor? There is a massive wave at his back, and he's just going to run straight to it, so he will be able to secure this one.
Yeah, Gamsu not using his teleport, wants to hold it.
He's not going to go back up, so they have to defend in the middle. ROCCAT does, but the rest of Fnatic are 5-stacking. Now the question is, can Betsy get away? Looks like he will be able to. Unless he wants to go back in. Oh, we got Dragon 5 though. I forgot about that.
Now. So this makes you wonder, did Fnatic make the wrong call and not just trying to brute force to end the game because they got a lucky shot on Airwax who did not respect the headshot, probably crit from Reckless there in that earlier stages of the fight. Then Betsy bought some time. Then Fnatic went for the base. So many actions and reactions here. Betsy in the Fnatic rush.
Oh,
for some members. Jesus.
Just waiting solo for himself, buying some time, see if he can get a pick off.
Oh, this could be big.
Oh boy.
Trap the brush. Trap the brush. Be a good AD carry.
Oh, he left. Well, oh,
you
man.
have to respect it.
Yeah, that was good.
You don't Fnatic. Especially not when you have a Fnatic member from the era where this play was born.
Yeah. Well, there's only one, but you know, Rise might as well be 5 people if an AD carry checks into him, so Reckless is able to put the trap down in the right place. Still though,
I love
2 inhibs.
what this game has become. Regardless who wins, it's been exciting.
Oh yeah. Take a look at that Baron power play. That definitely didn't work in Rocket's favor.
Unfortunate.
Well, it's. I think that is the worst we've seen today.
But
actually.
it's really hard to actually have good Baron power plays at this point in the game because Baron power plays are changes in goal differential, which mostly come from either what kills or towers. If you get a good Baron power play, it means you kill people, which means the game ends. And you can't take any towers because they're all gone already, and Nexus towers don't give you any gold. So inherently, this stat trails downwards towards the end of the game. Not that it matters, but just the context.
What does matter is the inhibitor respawning in the bottom side for Fnatic. They only lack the one in the top. ROCCAT stepping forward, but there's a line of traps. Extinct will look to clear them out. He throws the Unbreakable on. There's a culling. Takes a bite out of Spirit. Reckless had the shield.
You
but
take one down, you
thrown a
pass it
trap.
around. One more trap on the wall.
I should keep getting those cupcakes.
And you can't even clean them all in one row, so as a support anyways, because you had a little debuff, that means you can't get chain trapped anymore.
Yeah.
So it actually makes it harder to clear these. 2 inhibs have spawned, the last one's being cleared here by our AoE Gatling gun killing machine Reckless.
We have Freddy backing here. He's going to go to deal with the bottom side, but he's got his TP up. ROCCAT seem to have the fear put in him here. They don't want to go in for the dive into this base since
I mean,
what happened last time.
doesn't matter who Reckless hit, his runes will spread on the rest of the team, and everyone's trying to kill him.
Yeah, oh, they jump on Reckless. He's got a massive turnaround in his helmet. Oh, there goes Gamsu! Shut down gold in his pocket! Tabs is melting! Freddy's going down! And that has got to be it! Fnatic with the comebacks!
Alright, I've called this game for ROCCAT, I've called it for Fnatic, but I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Pyra, Betsy's going for the back door.
Bessie's going for the back door, but he's got no time left. Fnatic are racing for it. No, they're backing away! What is going on? Spirit's gonna be the one coming back, and Gamsu as well. Betsy's got one next to Turret, though. Oh, this game has gone nuts.
One
no,
man.
Jack. Uh-oh.
One support.
Oh, 3 people.
junglers.
And goodbye. That's the ace. That's the game. It took him 47 minutes, and it looked dire for most of it. But Fnatic will win this game.
What an absolute fantastic ending to the game here. We talked about it. Yeah, they had the late game spike, but at one point, late game ends in a 6-item Caitlyn, enhanced by 2 players.
The late game.
Yeah, the ultra late game. Jesus. Reckless with a fantastic late game fight there. He gets caught a little bit, but QSS flash out, reset from Noxiac, and at that point, if you don't get him immediately, you overextend. Really good play here at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Sloppy mid game, and ROCCAT, this has to be
Crushing.
This has to be a crushing defeat.
They were so close so many times to locking it up, but Fnatic kept it cool.
Look at the smile on Reckless'
Game,
face.
big smiles. You got to. After you save that, you just got to relax. Gamsu, though, after so many mistakes and so many failures to execute that ultimate, having to burn it defensively so many times, he comes in with the clutch 3-4-man knockup to just blow them away. And that was it. 47 minutes on the game clock. They even managed the defense against Betsy. I mean, that's just gotta sting if you're ROCCAT. They had that game and then they lost it.
All right, this is one of those graphics for the damage dealt to champions, where you go find forgiven.
Off the charts.
Reckless dealt 60,000 damage to champions this game, and I'm just gonna do some really quick math.
The next closest was Rise.
Yeah, so he almost dealt as much damage as the entire enemy team combined. He's only down like 10k. So, yeah, really. I mean, it's the nature of the composition, but
I suppose.
if you go this late in the game, it becomes such a stark contrast.
Yeah.
Really, how do you say, the multi-layered game, just so many mistakes that kind of build up of each other's in reaction, so the analyst desk will have a lot of fun.
Well, every phase of the game was so different. We talked about the early game. Fnatic had some good plays, but then kind of let it slide away from them where ROCCAT took control.
I think the biggest question mark for me is in the early to mid game, the teleports from Gamsu.
Yeah.
You don't always have to land them. You can use them to just scare your opponents, because every single team, maybe SKT and ROC's exceptions, or SKT at their prime, when you teleport, they will flinch. They'll be like, oh, what's going on? Okay, can we? And they will take one step back. That's enough for your team to disengage and run away. And you can use that, but it's really hard to coordinate that. It's very easy for us to spot out from here, but or some flanks or some setups. I feel Fnatic will need to use their teleports a lot more. But the roams from Feviven in the early game, I can't stress this enough. They kept Fnatic into the game. To play an Ignite Lulu from behind and get 2 roams into the top lane was very impressive.
Absolutely, and they managed to pull out the win to get their first 2-0 in the spring split. Now, though, we're going to step on stage with Pulse, who's joined by Fnatic's man in the mid lane.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Featherman after that crazy win. And first off, that was an insane game, like you were saying to me just before we came here. How did you hold it together through that entire game, through all of that adversity?
Well, we had Caitlyn and Lulu, so if we hit late game, it's basically over for them because the Caitlyn range is just insane, as you saw. Like I just speed my AD carry and then he just hit everyone. So we knew we had the late game for sure, and they were all really short range, so we could just CC them when they came to us and just speed, attack, speed, attack, speed, attack.
Okay, so what do you think were some of the problems that you faced earlier on into the game? Because last time I spoke to you, you're talking about Bora leaving the team and no longer having that shot calling. So how does your team kind of work around that in this game?
Well, I think our communication improved a lot since the last week or like 2 weeks before. But this game was like a whole different story because our bot lane got really behind, which means that we had no pressure all over the map because their jungler was strong too. And they had TP advantage mid, so it was really hard for us to actually do something. So we had just had the team fight and stall for late game, and that's what we did.
Yeah, well, how was it for you as well specifically? Because you went onto the Lulu, drafting a Lulu which facilitates your other lanes instead of picking a carry. How was it for you not being able to be the one who could just 1v9 a game?
Yeah, it's a lot different because if I play a supportive team champion, it's hard for me to actually create plays on my own. So I really rely on my AD carry this game, and I think he did really well in team fights. But yeah, as I said, if we have no pressure, then it's really hard for me to push out, move, and do whatever I want. So it was just a tough game.
It was a tough game, but ultimately it was a win. So congratulations on that one. Thank you very much for talking to me. And we're going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at the game and close out the day.
Thank you so much, Pulse. Nice hearing from Febiven there, clear analysis. And as the casters alluded to, there were very different phases of the game. First off, the beginning. ROC, we have praised him before in the first couple of weeks of the LCS that his aggressive style seemed to be doing well in this meta, and once again he gets his team ahead early.
Yeah, again, ROC, when he can play their some way solo queue jungle style and he can kind of do whatever he wants, is super, super good, and Kindred is his kind of champion. I will say though, I'm super surprised that Fnatic time and time again gets ganked in the bottom lane, and for some reason every time he goes down there he gets a kill. I mean, come on, you need to either protect the side, you can have more vision, or just like stop playing aggressive in that lane if you keep getting ganked over and over.
Kasing, what do you think about that?
I just think they really abused like the jungle pressure on bot side with ROCCAT. So they made sure that Caitlyn was behind, so even having a Lulu, and you can't really abuse her with Caitlyn in the early game, especially when your AD carry is weaker. So I think ROCCAT did a really good job in the early game.
Fnatic are not making it easy on their fans, though, man. They've had so many games where it's like Fnatic just are looking a bit rough, and now they suddenly are coming back into games. And there was one point where I was really worried for Fnatic in this game, and that was the Extinct.
Are you biased?
No, I just
Just kidding.
Whoa,
Just
attack.
kidding.
I was just going to say really worried because there was a good flank by Extinct. ROCCAT played very well, and this play later into the game was so close to being the game-ending play.
Yeah, I actually cut that briefly because it was more important to look at the ending of the game.
Okay.
Because it was so incredibly close, and as you say, it looked for the longest time like ROCCAT was going to win the game.
That's what it looked like, but kind of disengaged. The Malphite ultimate is just too strong in this situation where you stack 3 people, and then you heard Febiven talking about it. The range that you have on Caitlyn at that point is just too much to deal with.
But this was the first team fight where ROCCAT didn't manage to lock down Reckless with like a Rise Snare or something, and this was also the first team fight where QSS was actually available in a big 5-on-5. Every other fight leading up to this had been like Betty flashing in, Snare and Reckless, he would die instantly, even though Monsoon and everything was used. It's not enough against so much damage with shields to defend someone who's being CC'd. So this was like QSS late game. They went on Gamsu first, I think, and he then flashed out or backed out, and Reckless survived, and then the re-engage happens. And as soon as you disengage at first, the main damage is gone, and then Reckless can be the carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking for ROCCAT in the end because they did so well early. As you say, Extinct finally finding that engage and the communication being on point, but in the end, Fnatic makes it. What do you guys make of the fact that when we saw that after the game, Fnatic looks incredibly happy with wins like this, and in the summer split, they were depressed almost when they won by a landslide. What does that tell you about the project and where it is, and about their state of mind?
I guess it comes down to like seeing improvement in their play, or as you saw from this game, even though like they were really behind, especially when ROCCAT like nearly ended, it just feels, well, I would feel really happy anyway, like with my team's performance if we had won a game that was really close. And yeah, I feel like Fnatic played the team fights really well in the late game.
I guess also it's because Fnatic, again, they keep talking about it. They're not trying to be the best team at the moment. And when you are in there working, you're working towards a bigger goal, just picking up whatever wins you can on the way is always super helpful because you want to make top 6, obviously. You want to get into playoffs. And if you know you're going to get a lot better in 5-6 weeks with, better communication, better team play, whatever it is, I guess maybe it's the same for you guys because it's a long road, right? There's a lot of things to work on. So just picking up the wins to get the top 6 is the main part. And then getting ready for playoffs is like the overall goal, I assume.
Yeah, pretty much. Like Spring Split, I don't really get depressed if I lose because it doesn't really matter as long as we reach top 6. Like that's the main main point. But also to improve, like we can't afford to just like be really happy with a win in LCS. It doesn't mean that much. What matters more is if we as a team play really good or have a perfect game, kind of like how Immortals in NA. So yeah, that's what I think is good.
Keeping that eye on the end of the playoffs and, of course, possibly the championship points because it does mean something, of course.
It is kind of interesting you bring up Immortals. Something I've been wondering now, is, as we've seen a couple of weeks from Fnatic, is their massive performances seem to have gone with Huni and Reignover. And Huni and Reignover seem to have just gone to North America and been like, well, we're going to take off, we're going to continue from where we left off last split. Fnatic in Europe are still in this rebuilding phase, as you talked about. And, they need time. Will they get back to that status, I think, is seeming like a dimming light for now. Maybe with a couple more weeks we'll be able to tell.
Yeah, of course we can't Fnatic at this point, last split, or in the spring split, was 6-2 already, but this is a new project that we have to look at as well. Although, I can't help but wonder sometimes when I see the Malphite play and I think, this is where Huni would have ulted. This is where he would have flashed and made his team fight. But let's hope they don't think that way.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that this Fnatic lineup, in my opinion, will never be as strong as the Fnatic lineup we saw in Summer Split last year. Because I think that Fnatic was one of the best teams we've seen in the West in many years,
and
honestly.
Will to come.
And will most likely, at least as it looks right now. I do look at some of the top teams who have the newer top teams. I think there are some with a lot of potential. But that Fnatic team that clicked, Yellowstar was a great leader for the team. You can replace that. Like, you can replace some of the mechanical gifted players from time to time. A guy like Yellowstar is so tough to replace.
Well, you mentioned it already. We do have some other teams here in Europe that are absolutely at the top of the table. And as we approach the halfway point, let's take a look there. And it is G2, which I think was what you were alluding to, and H2K at the top of the tables. Unicorns of Love now fast in third. And of course, at the bottom, ROCCAT and Giants. And it's very interesting to me that at the top we have G2 and H2K, who showcase two different styles. We know H2K likes that macro play, setting up for those towers, getting those early advantages. And we know G2 just likes to be aggressive and brawl out and fight. And I think that's a cool testament to have two different teams at the top of the tables. Kasing, what do you make of G2 and their style? Too aggressive? Yes, no?
I really like G2's playstyle, actually. Like, they always commit. If one guy goes in, everyone else goes in. And I think this kind of playstyle requires a lot of trust as well. And I think as a team, they're actually bonding really well. And yeah, I think it's really good.
And we see so much talk about, the current meta, LCS games, or just overall professional games being boring at the moment. I think it's super important to look at some of the top teams in every region and what they're basically known for at the moment. ROC's Tigers, playing super aggressive, a bit like G2, they all trust in each other. They're very good in coordinating engages, very aggressive early jungler and Peanut now compared to Hojin, which they had last year. Immortals, like winning games in 20 minutes, super aggro. G2 is doing the same. Xiaogu over in the LPL. As well, with like early aggressive junglers, the team built around their junglers. So yes, okay, some of the games might not be the most exciting, but for some of the top teams who are playing the meta correct, I mean, it is very aggressive games with a lot of fighting going on.
That's interesting you mentioned that, because we were talking a little bit about the meta and if you liked it, then you brought up specifically that you think it revolved so much around the junglers. What are your thoughts in general for you in this meta?
I think right now the current meta is like jungle and support, like are the main carries of the team. Like, if they get vision on one side with mainly on the mid and bot side, then usually you want vision around there. And before, in the past seasons, everyone can buy vision wards, and right now only like certain people can buy wards and stuff and trinkets. So by having support and jungle together, it usually means that they can go together like anywhere they want on the map to get place vision. Whereas before, you could have vision on your top laner, your mid laner, they could ward from themselves. So then you have like one quadrant of the map warded as well. But right now, it's like you have to focus on one part, and that's all.
If you had to score yourself right now, Shook and you together, how do you think you're doing?
Solid 8.
A solid 8.
Yeah.
Okay, solid day. Fair enough. I think one of the most interesting things, is everybody talks about, it can be a bit boring. I think the problem is when teams are at a level where most of our teams can play the beginning of the lane swap very well, that's why people are just seeing so much neutral play. You trade because you can't step into the shadows, as you were saying, Kasing. The problem opens up, or the game will open up, as we saw today, when it extends past that. And we end up with these really messy games where after that 15-minute mark, everybody wants to fight. And we end up with that Fnatic game. We end up with the Unicorns game earlier. So that's where it starts to open up. I just wonder whether we're going to see teams come up with some slightly different strategies, or whether we really are, without a meta shift, at the point where our teams just know how to lane swap.
I mean, we're definitely not at a point where every team can play the meta the same way. Because again, when you have these top teams, why are Immortals the only team who's able to play the way they're playing in North America? Even if you have worse players, you can try and play the same style. It will go wrong. You will obviously lose a lot of games doing it, but you can still be super aggressive, super aggro. I think ROCCAT is doing it often in the early game around Airwax. But the fact that so many top teams in each region are super, super aggressive and are forcing a lot of plays and being proactive, it does tell me that they understand how to play it. And a lot of teams who's dragging the game to 40 minutes and just trading, never fighting, and 0-0 for again 40 minutes, are doing something wrong compared to these teams. Not saying H2K are, because I think H2K are actually very proactive on the map, always forcing objectives. They're just not forcing the kills.
They did end up with a quite close game versus Elements as well. H2K, what did you make of their performance overall this week?
Thought it was good. Still finding their legs with Selfie. A little bit better this week again, though. Gone are some of the problems we saw in the last week. I think they looked fairly solid. We've still got to see a lot more from them. I think once we see in the second rotation of games against some of the top teams again, we'll see them pushed.
But I actually think that team fight that just rolled out, if ICA had TP'd earlier, there was a world place for them to win that team fight. And if Elemis had gotten that team fight that they wanted, well, rather than Morgana just walking down, then they probably would have won that team fight and gotten more, and maybe they would have stumbled from that.
Yeah.
So that's what something I noticed.
It was super close in the end. We saw there, of course, Forgiven and Vander. What did you make? What do you make so far of their partnership?
I think that, Forgiven with any support is always going to be good, because he has the playstyle that currently fits him, or the meta. Or AD carries are really, really important right now. They can even go on top, as you saw from my team. But I just think Forgiven has a really good playstyle that everyone can learn from.
Well, we also asked people at home to send in questions for Kasing, and Forgiven actually sent in a question. He tweeted, "Enrated and me vouched for you to join H2K, and in the end, you won against us in the spring playoffs." Opinion?
I'd just like to say thanks for that third place, mate.
And the Worlds trip on the back of that. Cool. Any case, if we continue to talk about the standings, do you have anything else to add? No.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Cool. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's a post show. We can be chill. Something I do want to hammer home, though, the Unicorns of Love. The Fisho, are you a fan yet?
He was a fan in week 1!
That's true.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this team right now, because I think some of the players we didn't expect too much from has really stepped up big time. Steelback being one of them. Obviously being a great AD carry right now. I'm so impressed with Visichachi and his performance up in the top lane. And I'm just impressed with the team play.
Yeah.
This is the first time Unicorns have been a consistent team. I mean, we know what to expect from them now. They don't make the same silly mistakes we've seen. There are obviously some issues here and there, which every team has. Kasing, do you think right now that Unicorns of Love is the third best team in Europe, where they're sitting in the standings? Or is it Vitality?
I mean, I can't really say who's the best right now. It's still early.
Perk said who's the best.
Good job we didn't have a game between today or anything.
Yeah, I do believe. Who won it?
Well, speaking of that game, one thing I was actually fairly impressed this week was Rudy in the jungle, because, whenever we hear about these people from solo queue, it's always well, how do they actually perform, especially in the jungle role? Because it is two different roles. A lot of solo queue tends to be just carry out of the jungle and kind of win the game for your team. Rudy, however, was not making a whole lot of mistakes until it was later into the game, which is pretty impressive to just slot into a team as the third jungler on this and do very well. So as a player that potentially has room to grow, he's somebody I'm looking at and I'm like, okay, maybe this guy is a little bit more of the hype we've heard from his solo queue performance.
Yeah, it's actually the same question we asked Perks, and a lot of it came down to Hylissang and Chachi are the absolute backbone of that team, and Hylissang and especially Chachi has definitely impressed me. What have you made of that? Because in the beginning of the season, we also had question marks. Okay, these two players are still there, but what can they rebuild? How much of an influence is that having on the fact that any jungler can come in there and do good, seemingly?
I think actually comes down to Hylissang actually. From what I've noticed, like Hylissang is usually the one guiding his jungler, like where to go, where to be, and as I said, it goes back to the point where I said jungle and support are like the most important parts of the team. And I think Hylissang does a really good job leading or guiding any jungler that they play with.
And you are, of course, the support to Hjarnan. Another question that we've got sent in was from @1win writes, what makes you and Hjarnan such good bottom lane partners?
Well, we do a lot for each other, so yeah.
You know, if we would have asked Hjarnan this question, he would still go kissing, of course.
No love back, however. You could just say Yanan.
No, but we have a lot of fun times. So,
Definitely do. Finally, for a more serious question, or maybe not, @Lioness Lol is asking, what is the optimal pillow configuration for maximum comfort while supporting my team? Because, well, we've seen a couple of things that you really need that support in the back, I think it is, or?
No, it's mainly on the chair. Okay, so basically, initially I had 2 pillows, right? They were both soft. So one day, Riot decided to give me 2 pillows that was one hard and one soft. And I couldn't do this because that was against ROCCAT, so that's probably why I lost. But basically, like they have to be both soft, and then you have to position like under your bottom, so you can sit on them, and then you have a nice gaming experience.
So you know those times when people are like, oh man, they're talking for so long, these analysts need to really shut up. Sometimes there are external factors that are slowing things down. So
Yeah.
sorry.
But I understand, though. You got to have that optimal setup if you want to perform correctly. Finally, as we wrap up about the standings, we got to look at the bottom. And something that you mentioned, the fish show, during the ROCCAT game is this isn't a team that looks like a 1-7 team. They should have more wins on the board. And you saw glimpses of good things there.
As we did in every single ROCCAT game so far, I feel, except for maybe the one yesterday. That was the only game where I felt like ROCCAT got completely blown out. Otherwise, in the early game and in the mid game, I feel like we see good things, often around Betsy and Airwax together. Taps has been looking, honestly, I'm going to say this game, he looked better than Sapphire before. Extinct was also getting more and more into the support role. So like there's new members coming in for this team. There's a lot of question marks. I'm not sure how far they can climb up the standings. Do you think ROCCAT can get out of relegation zone?
I think they have some veteran players as like Betsy and Airwax who are actually quite good. So maybe they can with more time. Like maybe they have the same problems as like all the other teams, like even like us, where communication is still a big issue. But yeah, every team can definitely make it out.
It's definitely interesting that players like Betsy and Airwax that we hadn't rated as high in the previous seasons now seem to do faring a lot better. And what we were discussing here also during game was, how's the overall level of EU looking right now? Are we better? Are we worse at this point? Of course, it is early. And you said that you think that the top half of the table is better. Can you say why?
I think, how do I say it? Back then it was like top 3. It was Fnatic, Origin, and H2K. And then now like more mechanical gifted players are in the LCS. And I think right now it's got to a good state for the top half. But for the bottom half, it's still like you have some players that aren't really as good and are still there for some reason. And yeah, I just think people value friendship over how they play, I guess.
Very interesting. Well, a lot of mechanical gifted players at the top of the tables. And now for a look at some of those fantasy hard carries, the OPs, and everything in between, we're going to send it over to Quick Shot.
Thank you very much, Sharks. Over here at the Weatherman screen, the forecast is promising after the high-pressure front of games in Week 4. It's time to take a look at the OP players, starting with the chilly front that has come in over the fantasy scoreboards. It's H2K's Oduwamne. He's currently the pick of your envy if he's running on your team. He's not on mine, which is why it's chilly and I'm sad. Continuing with the hail is talk about the OP5s. Emperor hailed down a 41% kill share, playing both Kalista and Ezreal. Then, following on from that, a shower of assists has followed in with Hybrid in the support role, a 26 KDA, only 1 death across 2 games. There's clear skies on the horizon for Oduwamne and his Poppy after he helped defeat elements leading from the front, swinging that keeper's verdict and really doing a great job. And finally, with some partly cloudy skies as far as the stats are concerned, Vizichachi is showing that poor weather is not going to stop his shot calling, his leader abilities, or his ability to impact the game. 6-4-21, but it's more about how he's playing. I know Deficio feels very strongly about how well he can carry that umbrella for his team. team. And finally, there's thunder and lightning on this horizon as Airwax and his jungle Kindred today went 3-1-0 at 15 minutes against Fnatic. Despite not winning the game, it is a very good performance from Airwax, showing you that no matter what the weather report might say, he's able to perform. He's showing up on the LCS stage. So there's your fantasy leaders, as well as some OP5s for the Weatherman prediction screen. But to find out the MVP and exactly where the bright sunshine is coming from, we're going to head back to the analyst desk.
Where the bright sunshine is coming from, I think it's always sunny in your head. Quayshaw, where did that? We were totally unprepared for that. Yet, solid list. Hybrid and Emperor there at the top of the OP list. I wanted to ask you about that duo because Hybrid is someone we've had our eye on. Of course, he's played a lot of Braum and he's obviously very adept at that champion. But what do you make of the duo as a whole?
I think the duo is, they're okay, but from what I saw yesterday, like when they were playing the 2v2 matchup versus Ezreal, but I forgot which team, they didn't like play together in the lane. Like that's something you notice as a bot laner, when you know that if your AD carry is stepping back, you don't really step up as support, you step together like a parallel line. But yesterday it was like, it wasn't really, didn't like give me the impression that they were that great yet. Maybe they're still improving on it, and I hope so too. Because I feel like they could be a really good duo. Like Emperor has shown he actually can carry games when given the resources, and Hybrid has shown really good like skill on Braum, hopefully on other champions too. And I don't know, yeah, I think that's what I think of them.
All right, cool. Well, for the MVP spot, we also have an AD carry that's in there standing out amongst the rest of the field for us this week. UOL's Steelback. 8-1 and 18 in 2 games for a KDA of 26. And of course, you have to see this in the context of the expectations we had for UOL and Steelback in particular coming into the season, and he has risen above and beyond.
Yeah, for sure. He's really stepped up and become the main carry for Unicorns a lot. Something, especially on the AD carry position, they lacked last year, where it was so much about power of evil in the mid lane. I definitely feel like they have more players they can play around. And Steelback, every player we ask, honestly rate him super high now as an AD carry in the LCS and say he's performing better and better. So you played against him back in spring last year, and then now, what do you feel is like the massive difference?
Well, first he has a support that can actually play aggro now, and I feel like when he can play with someone who's comfortable with, then of course he can show his true ability. And I think Steelback has actually improved from since like last time I played against him, and I'm happy that he's improved.
And I feel like the other half of that is that it also helps the Unicorns because Hylissang now has an AD carry that he can leave on his own. It's like, oh, it's time to roam. I can leave him here. He's not going to do anything. Steelback's just going to hold this. So I think it's just a great overall upgrade for the Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, and funnily enough, we talked so much about Power of Evil leaving, and he doesn't seem to find his groove on OG. However, Fox, Spring 2015, Fox is back in there. Today's Corki play really impressed me, the way he roamed and played. It's funny how all these players seem to be gelling together much better, and it's good for them. We'll also see them next week in their next game as they will take on, in Week 5, H2K. That'll be a very interesting matchup. A lot of their Fnatic versus Elements OG Splice. G2 versus Vitality. Well, Kasing, a little bit of a preview on that one. Of course, G2 alone, not alone, with H2K at the top of the tables. And after the game today, maybe, you know, a little bit harder to prepare for you guys.
I think we'll be quite good against them. I think we play well against their current style. Like they like to play really aggressive. We know how to play really conservative and play around the map. So I think it'll be a good matchup.
Yeah, we'll see any other matchups that you guys have got your eye on. Every team in particular, of course, the Giants at the bottom of the table. It's got to start happening for them soon.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I honestly don't see how Giants at the moment is just going to bounce back and pick up the first win or first 2 wins or whatever. Because they have so many issues compared to every other team. I mean, ROCCAT in the games we were watching are looking better than Giants are, despite ROCCAT also losing. So, I mean, in Europe we tend to see some upsets here and there, but there's been less, in my opinion, this year than normally. So I wonder for Giants what needs to change, because there's a lot of things at the moment.
Well, what I would say for Giants is, for their fans at least, they put out a post yesterday talking about their issues and how they feel about it. So this may be a week where we do see some kind of change. I don't know what it is that they need to do, but if they can kind of reset in a week, it's a short period of time, there is a possibility. But I'm looking at that H2K matchup.
You don't know what it is they need to do. You're singing a different
Hey,
song.
whoa. I think if they had a time machine and not get rid of Wirlib, I think that would have been one of the things they need to do, but it's too late for that. They've got to find a different answer because he was becoming one of the main carries for Giants at the end of last year.
Interesting. A lot of work to do for them. And by the way, our match of the week next week is Vitality versus Origin. So you have two very tough matchups. I mean, very interesting matchup for top of the tables. If you have to predict what you will go.
I don't know actually. Like both teams are really strong, and Origin will probably be in better form as well from the previous week, like the previous time we played against them, and of course so will we. So that will be actually a really fun match.
We'll see. You don't have to wait till that match of the week to get more LCS action because things get going over in NA tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central European Time, noon Pacific, with Team Liquid versus Team Dignitas. And later on, it is their match of the week between CLG and the familiar faces of Immortals. Well, we already touched on them. As you say, I don't see the Giants turning their season around. I don't see Immortals stopping anytime soon.
No, I mean, Immortals right now are playing so well. They're drafting compositions that fit them to play aggressive early on, and I don't think they're going to lose the game.
We'll see what happens. For us here in Berlin, it is time to log out. From all of us here bringing you the European LCS, thank you for watching. Thank you to Kasing, Perks, and yesterday Vander for joining us. And we'll see you guys back here next time.
This reloaded into the rest of the game 1 of week 4, day 2 of the European LCS.
Bashy's already gone. Glacial Fisher. Good knocker. Kickers has found them, and with the steadfast presence, nobody can get away. Oh, he's pulling pressure on the side, but he's just dies. He's gone. There's 2. Triple kill for Emperor. Gamers 2. A flawless week. 2-0 in week 4. Monsoon gets a full channel, and Odo is on the front line. He knocks off Elements.
I exhaust. I'm moving now. We can fight. Go, guys. Go. Fiora. Moving it up. Victor is there. Focus. Go. Morgana. No flash. Yeah, no flash. Killer. Good job.
An H2K win.
No, they filmed us yesterday when we did it, right? It looks so awkward.
What?
They filmed that yesterday when everybody was just sitting like...
Yeah, that's your life now. They film you when you do everything.
Yeah, no, but...
It's only awkward if you make it awkward.
Yeah, don't make it awkward. My bad. It's only awkward if you think it's awkward.
Rocket, they managed the double kill. 2 kills on it, and Shook turns into the pit. Still back in hell, they are way too low. They make the hole. The Rockets, the Jinx is running wild. That's a double kill.
Jinx. Hey, guys.
I got Jinx. She's gonna die. She's dead.
Nice, good job.
Nice one, boys. Nice.
The Unicorns close this one out and take control of 3rd place.
Chunk of damage as Sven makes it rain on his head, and it's a bullet time. Soaz comes in for the big knockup. Origin 1-1. But they keep on chugging. Febiven turns around on tap, but the rest of Fnatic are dropping like flies. He's got a massive turnaround in his helmet. There goes Gamsu. Shut down gold in his pocket. Tabs is melted. Freddy's going down, and that has got to be it. Fnatic with the comeback.